Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. This is going to be a Q&A video and I have the questions from Instagram. You can follow me on there to just always see my stories and my posts. And I think asking questions there is a bit easier than here on YouTube, but of course always leave your questions down below in the comments. I hope I see them and maybe I can turn them into videos or into Q&A videos or just answer them in the comments. So today I'm gonna knit my sweater. I started knitting the sweater in another video that I will link you up here, and I think I'm gonna make like a playlist out of it, but today I'm just knitting. It's the mock neck of a sweater with that wool here, and I'm gonna answer your questions. How is your life compared to before you chose minimalism and eco-friendly living? So that is a bit hard because I think so many things have changed, and not just the fact that I chose to live more sustainably and become a minimalist. So maybe to add more context, I will also link the video up here where I talk about my minimalism journey if you want to have more details about that. But I became a minimalist when moving abroad with my toddler from Switzerland to Germany when I was 20. And so I did live at my parents' house before that, and I just had my one room. So I did not have too many things, but I still had a lot more things than I have now. And to prepare for the move, because we would only like go by train and by bus, and my mom offered to go with her car one time to bring me my stuff. I just wanted to downsize to have less things to move, because also I was not like, I just had accumulated all of my childhood things in my bedroom and I just didn't need everything. I was done with school, so the first thing I think that I did was declutter my papers, and then I just decluttered the rest, and I moved abroad and we were looking for an apartment, and we first lived with my boyfriend's parents and then had our own place in like a shared house with another family, and now we have our apartment. So I became minimalist over the course of a few years, and the same also goes for sustainability. And I think I started just decluttering for the move. I also discovered minimalism at that time in life because I was researching like long distance moves and things like that on YouTube, and then I discovered minimalism, and the idea was really great. Like, I loved the idea. I was always very fascinated by simplicity and how rooms would look if there's just not too much clutter in there. And so I loved it, and I downsized, and I had my first kind of capsule wardrobe that consisted of, I think, 45 pieces. And after minimalism, I really also started focusing on sustainability more and more, and it's just an ongoing process that's still not done. I don't think I'm gonna declutter a lot more because there's just not that much to declutter. But of course, I'm practicing minimalism in my day now, and like in my everyday life and in my life in general. And I also try to be more and more sustainable, and it's not always like a straight route, because I think sustainability in general is just a very complicated topic. So the difference in my life, I'd say like everything is different now, just because I was almost still a kid and lived at home, and now I'm living in my own place. But when we try to like focus on the things that minimalism maybe has changed, I wasn't happy, and now I'm a lot more happy. Of course, that can still be due to a lot of other things, but I'm just calmer. Like, the whole fear of maybe not knowing where things are, not knowing what to wear, having the thought of always needing more is completely gone. Like, I still have the urge to sometimes upgrade things or change things, but there have been so many things in my life that I thought about, that I worried about, that are just gone now. And that's, I think, wonderful. I could just like declutter and get rid of a lot of stressful things in my life, I think, and just a lot of clutter that is not meaningless but was just cluttering my room back then. And sustainability, I mean, I knew before I started trying to live more sustainable that it would be good to do that, but I just never had the energy, or never had like the urge, or never really tried. And Now talking about that, I think it's really important that you know that there are problems that we sometimes have in life, and therefore we just do actually not have the energy to try super hard to run to every bulk store and do all the hacks and learn so much about sustainability. And I think that's totally fine. But of course it's good if we try to do as much as we can. And I have to say, maybe I hoped living more sustainably would make me feel like a better person, would make me feel like I'm doing everything right. But it's actually, I think it hasn't changed, or it is the opposite, because learning so much about sustainability and about all the other inequalities like racism, classism, just all the things that people have against other people, all the things that are discriminating certain groups of people, that are just destroying our planet and the people living on it. It made life almost harder. Like by learning, I discovered more and more things that are so unfair and so difficult. So I think I'm super grateful that I learned about sustainability and that I try to do my best every single day. It hasn't made my life easier. But this is like a very important value of mine, so I will keep trying to live more and more sustainable. Like I think more about certain routines, so that I wouldn't just like go out and go grocery shopping without taking my own bags, that I would always bring my own water and avoid certain products because they are not sustainable. Especially also when it comes to fashion and things like that. I have changed my consumption habits a lot. I think that has changed. But now I've talked a lot about this question, so let's move on to the next question. So that's actually related, and it is, how do you prevent yourself from consuming more zero waste items? How do you choose your essentials? Now I think when it comes to like these sustainable, essential, zero waste products, the thing we should always keep in mind that if we have something that works, even if it's made from plastic, it is more sustainable to just keep using what we have. But of course, I understand what you mean by asking this question, because it is sometimes just you really want to have that beautiful stainless steel thing, and you don't want to use your ugly plastic thing anymore. And I do have actually one example of that. It's my laundry basket that I use to like put the wet clothes in when they're washed, and that I used to just bring them to our drying rack and hang them. And before I had the laundry basket I have now, I had a pink plastic one. We got that as a housewarming gift from my boyfriend's grandma, and that was so sweet and it was amazing. And she gave us other things that were really useful, and we used that laundry basket for I think 3 years, but I just didn't like it. And so last year, about a year ago, I bought a wooden basket for my laundry, and I gave away the laundry basket for free on an online marketplace. And I was not sure how I should think about my decision. Like, I felt kind of bad for deciding to do that, just because I thought why I am not allowed to have a new basket as long as I have one that works. But it really bothered me. And so I thought it is okay to do that, because I got my new laundry basket secondhand on that same marketplace where I gave my old one away. And as long, I think, as we are able to find a sustainable solution for our new thing, and as long as we're able to find someone that really wants to have and use our old version, it's okay. Now, of course, I always think we should not overconsume, and we should never, just because it's pretty, upgrade and exchange all of our things. But it's also okay to do it every now and then. And what I have done with other zero waste essentials, I got them for my birthday, or I bought them whenever the old version was broken, and just things like that. Just limit the amount you can buy. And maybe like I can link you the video about my low buy up here, because this year I'm doing a low buy, and I actually like to just explain very briefly what I'm doing. I'm allowing myself to buy one thing each month, and maybe you could do something similar with sustainable and zero waste essentials, to just say, let's say I can upgrade 5 things each year so that you can have something to look forward to, but so you don't like, yeah, so you can have something, but you can not just go out and buy everything, because that's expensive and not really sustainable. Because I think when you talk about zero waste essentials, you want to be sustainable, and then it doesn't really make sense to just go out and buy all of the things. So moving on to the next question. Yeah, more minimalism. Of course, I'm gonna do that. Sweater knitting tutorial basics. Yeah, I'm like, in this series, I'm kind of showing you what I do, but I can't give you like an exact tutorial just because I'm not good at it. I don't know the words in English, and I'm not even sure if this is gonna turn out well. Talk minimalist shopping when it comes to groceries and such supplies, rules, no's, etc. So actually, cooking and buying groceries and things like that has been a requested topic on my channel, and I want to go into that. And I also want to make like a grocery shopping routine soon, so I think that's gonna be a video that I'm making because a lot of you were interested in that. But just what I do, like, I have to say, and I made a video about minimalism and food. I'm gonna link that up here as well for you, but I don't even know if I'm really applying minimalism to food, just to be honest. Like, our kitchen is not too big, we don't have too many things, but we do have like a pasta machine, and we do have like a few not so essential things, but we like to cook and we prepare all our food at home. So I think it kind of makes sense to have these things. Now I'm running out of thread and I need to use a different one. Since I got it secondhand, there are a lot of like these small pieces, but I'm just gonna use it up because that's what I have, and that's thread as well, so I'm fine with that. So I don't really know if we're actually that minimalist when it comes to grocery shopping. But what I try to do, and that again has to do with sustainability, I just try to choose organic, plastic-free and local products as much as possible, as well as we're not vegan, but we're almost, like, we make 1 or 2 meals a week that contain vegetarian ingredients but that are not vegan, and the rest of the week. So I just try to reduce animal products as good as possible, and that are the things that I look for. I also try to meal plan, not very strictly, but before I go grocery shopping, I sit down and make a list together with my boyfriend and my son a lot of times, so that we all have things we look forward to, we all have things that we like. And then I just buy all the ingredients that we need for these meals. And I'm usually grocery shopping once a week just to keep it simple. So that's maybe the only like real minimalist part. I try to plan it. I go grocery shopping once a week, sometimes of course also my boyfriend, and then we prepare all of our meals at home. Yes, that's what I do. Let me know what you do if you have other minimalist tricks to go grocery shopping. I've thought about like having one meal for each weekday and always eating the same, but I think it would be too boring for me. That's another like minimalist thing you could do, because then each and every week you would just have to go buy the exact same ingredients, because you would always cook the same 7 things. And of course, for the other meals, if you cook something, that's something we do as well. We cook in the evenings and we eat leftovers for lunch, and for breakfast we just have bread or cereal. So that is what we do when it comes to cooking and grocery shopping. Next question. What do you cook? Yes. Sometimes I share it on Instagram stories, just very different things. I like making homemade pasta, I like pizza, I like a lot of like Indian dishes that I try to learn how to cook. I also love sushi. We make it vegan or vegetarian. I like soups. I like a lot of things. I don't know, it's too complicated to just say what I'm cooking. Maybe I can do like what I eat in a week or what I cook in a week, like, and I share all the dinners that I cook. If you're interested in that, let me know down below. That would maybe be something I could do to let you know what I cook. How to repair items you already own to make them last longer. Well, I'm really not an expert. I try to just fix holes. I have dyed items before with like plant dye. I can link you the video up here as well, where I show you how that's done. That's pretty much what I do. Like, I repair holes. And now I made a mistake here or something. No, I think it's fine. Is it though? Oh yeah, it is. It was just the end of the other thread. So I don't really know I can't really explain how to fix things, because I just also do whatever I think works. But maybe there are tutorials on how to fix like special items, or how to like on techniques, or how to actually do it. But of course, maybe I have learned how to do it, or I have some experience, but I really don't know how to explain how to do it, because I just try to do it and it doesn't always turn out pretty. So let's see what the next question is. What to do when your spouse isn't a minimalist? That's actually something that I do sometimes talk about in the comments. Like, some of you have asked me in the comments before, and I always kind of say the same thing. That goes also for your kids, I think. So I cannot change how other people choose to live their lives and what kind of things they want to keep as their belongings. I'm really interested in minimalism, and I have downsized my personal belongings significantly. I really don't own a lot of things anymore, and I have a video on this called like Everything I Own, My Personal Belongings or something. I think it's good if you just focus on yourself first. Of course, I also like, my boyfriend isn't really minimalist, but he's also not minimalist. And my son has a minimalist wardrobe, but apart from that, he has a lot of stuff. And so they are both not minimalists, but they are also not the opposite. And I did always talk about it to my boyfriend, but not in a way of like, you should really try out minimalism. Please declutter that thing. Can we please declutter that? Can you please get rid of this? You should be a minimalist. But no, I would just talk about it in a sense of, hey, I have thought about minimalism, and what do you think about, would it work out if I got rid of my pair of shoes? I think it would work out. Just to get his opinion on my stuff, or just to like share ideas with him, to like, maybe I would talk about sentimental items. I think that's a very interesting topic where we have different opinions on, and then I think it's super interesting to hear if people think like, would I miss it? Do you think it's good if I just digitize it? Do you think I will miss it if I just have a digital version of it? So I would just like never try to force anybody into minimalism, but if you're interested in that, and if the person is interested in you, then I think it's at least possible to talk about the subject in general. And my boyfriend has said before that, of course, me being a minimalist, having this YouTube channel about minimalism, talking to him about minimalism, does influence him. Like, he does have a minimalist wardrobe, even though he wouldn't maybe consider it a minimalist wardrobe, because he just has what he needs and nothing more. He has books. He has, I think, more than 200 books. I don't have any books, but he chooses to keep them. And of course, I have encouraged him to declutter when we moved. Like, hey, do you really want to keep all of those books? Like, things like that maybe other people wouldn't ask. But I don't even think that was a great idea, because usually if people feel pushed to try to declutter or to try minimalism, it's not really encouraging. So I think the best thing you can do is just focus on yourself. Maybe talk to other people about the things that you really want to hear the opinion about, and trust that they will maybe start decluttering on their own if they see that you are happy with it. The only thing I can say, if like your partner or somebody you live with is really not minimalist and is absolutely not interested in it, but you feel like a strong desire to have it simplified around you, that you think you need like less visual clutter and less things and less like things to clean, then of course I think it's always good, and it's always your right to talk about that, and just to say that like, I want to have like cleaner walls. I want to have less things laying around? Can we please like divide up our living space? Can we have like a very minimalist bedroom, but you can have your books in the living room? Or can I please have this room for me to decorate? Can I please have the kitchen and just put everything away from the countertop, and you can decorate the bedroom or something like that? Because I think it's not okay if the person that is not minimalist just fills up the whole apartment with stuff because the other person does not have any stuff because they are minimalist, and then the minimalist is really overwhelmed because they want to have that empty space. I think minimalists should have the right to have open space as much as people that are not minimalist have the right to have their stuff somewhere. So I think it's a lot about communication. It's a lot about learning and accepting and understanding the other person that has different views on stuff. And I think it's hard to find like a solution that works for everybody, and I just hope that you figure it out. But that's also maybe one of the reasons that there's no room tour, or that there's no everything we own together, because we are just not all minimalists. Like, we are not a minimalist family. I'm a minimalist living with my boyfriend and my son, but they are not minimalists. How to be grateful for what you have. Reduce the feeling of needing new stuff for things to be complete. I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with. And sometimes we realize it and sometimes we don't, but I think we often consume and buy things to feel complete. We buy new things because it's exciting, it feels good to have something new, it feels good to change something up, and I do have to say that I'm not completely over that. I think that's a topic that is super interesting and that I want to learn a lot about, and I think something that is always good is learning more about yourself. And what I have done in the past is reminding myself that I am not defined by my stuff, thinking about what it actually is that makes me unhappy or that makes me stressed, because most of the time it's not actually that I really want to have new things, but it's something else that's stressing me out, and I think adding new things to my belongings would somehow help with that. And I also think it can help to actually just do a low buy, and I have linked you the video before, to just monitor how much you can get. So I think it's okay, because sometimes we need something new, or sometimes we really want something new, and I think it's okay to sometimes get something new. And stuff can, I don't think it can make us happy, but it can make our life so much easier. And I think there's nothing wrong with having good things that really support our life. Because, for example, let me give you an example. I had a laptop and it did work, and it was 8 years old. And it did work. Like, I felt really bad for wanting a new laptop, but it was so slow that it took sometimes about half an hour to open up Photoshop. And at that time I hadn't even started YouTube, and it wouldn't have been possible to start YouTube with that laptop just because it was so slow and old, but it still worked. So I kept using that laptop for, I think, 2 or 3 years after I already realized that I really want to have a new one, before I actually allowed myself to get a new one. And I think that was a really good investment. Even though it was not 100% necessary, it was not 100% sustainable, but it made it possible to save so much time, save so much stress, made it possible for me to start this YouTube channel and things like that. And so I think sometimes it's okay to want new things, but we have to learn to understand if we want something new because it would be a new thing, or if we want something new because that new thing would really solve a problem. And so I think it could maybe help if you reduce the amount of things you can get. So you really try to think about the 10 best things you could add to your life this year. And I don't think it will get rid completely of that feeling of, oh yeah, I just want something new. I really did experience that as well also this year. But I just always try to not give into that feeling right away. Think about what it is that actually is the problem. Try doing things that feel good, like not just buying things, but actually go for a walk, take a shower, do things that make me happy, instead of buying new things, because I think shopping or buying new things is often used as like a comforting habit or as like a hobby, and it actually shouldn't be. And I also want to say that the opposite can happen, that we feel like the more we declutter, the better we feel, or that we like get that rush of good feelings from decluttering, and then we declutter and declutter even though we don't actually want to get rid of more stuff. And I think we have to be careful with both of these things. But I also think that it's hard to just have one solution. Another thing I think that really helps when it comes to like gratitude and not feeling like you have anything to be grateful for is actually journaling. And I know this is like one of the most basic tips ever. Like everybody just says like have a gratitude journal, but I think it actually helps. And there are also apps out there that make it very easy. So I just encourage you also to, like, if you have a moment, and that happens more and more the more you journal like things you're grateful for. But sometimes when I'm on a walk or something, it's just a moment where it's beautiful outside, and nature does that for me often, where I can just like be still for a moment and realize how beautiful it is. And things like that, like just realize how beautiful the small things are. And I think it's very hard during the situation that we're in right now. I think it's especially hard has been especially hard during the past year, and it's still not over. And I think it's okay if you can't like fix that problem right away. But I hope there have been some things that could maybe be helpful for that situation. And I'm still very much learning that as well. So that have been all the questions for today. Please leave me more questions down below in the comments if you have any. And look, this is how far I've come. It's not like the complete neck, but I think maybe the same amount, and then I'm gonna be done. But I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. That would really help my channel. And if you want to see more videos right now, I'll link you a video here and a playlist here, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!